Sideline Squib. It's a long time coming. Steve, Andrew, what say you? This is the sideline, yeah. Funny, it's my time then. Put me in right now then. Squib, squib, boy. This is the sideline, Funny, it's my time then. Yeah. Put me in right now then. Squib, squib, boy. This is the Squib, info stick up to your ribs. Chips be coming with that dip. Go ahead, put it to your lips. My oh my, that is delish. Victory gon' taste like this. Y'all bought that big ol' boat, but these boys built you a bridge. Sit down and take notes. If you want you a trophy.
What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Sideline Squib. I am here with guest Chris Robin from the DFS Cheatsheet, Detroit Beastie on Twitter. Chris, how are you doing tonight?
Oh, fantastic. Thanks for having me. You gave me ample opportunity to drop out of this since I've been at the lake on the water all day. As you can see, my face is toasted. Having a lot of fun today, but as I've told you before we went live, I'm a man of my word. So what kind of man would I be if I ditched out on this? I'm happy to be here.
No, yeah, I appreciate that. Hey, I always offer at least the lending hand. I know how it gets some days where you're out having fun, you knock a few back, and then it's just, the day gets the best of you at most. So, no, we're just gonna have some fun today and freestyle a little bit. So, I want to get your, what are your opinion on kind of everything that's going on right now? What do you think? Do you think we're going to have a season? Do you think things are going the right way? I know COVID's kind of spiking up again. So, where are your thoughts on the upcoming season?
Yeah, well, realistically, I've never been the kind of guy who runs with the, like a follower, like runs with the masses. I don't think we're going to have a season this year. And trust me, it hurts me to think that, to say that, just as much as it does, to you and everybody who's listening live or who will listen to this or who will comment here. I just don't see it happening. And if you look around the landscape of not only football, but let's say hockey, basketball, college football, teams are reporting back to the clubhouse, let's say in baseball or in college, like Clemson, and boom, within a week, we have, 14 or 15 guys tested positive. Well, let's leave, we'll regroup, a week later, you got 28 or 30 guys that are testing positive for this thing. So realistically, I don't see it happening, right? And when it comes, I know this is, fantasy football, or we can freestyle, whatever. But when you look at what's going on in baseball, like, Freddy Freeman reported back just the other day. He tested positive, quarantined. There was a video of him on Facebook Live or, Twitter, let's say, and he came back into the dugout, like the clubhouse, and he ran onto the field. But if your head isn't in the sand, if you look around, Yasiel Puig signed with the Braves, right? And then 2 minutes later, tested positive, so he wasn't able to sign. So it's just a revolving door of, this guy gets it, then he leaves. And then so I honestly, long-winded way of me saying I do not think there will be a season this year.
Yeah, no, that's a perfect example, especially with the baseball players and their reporting. I think it's going to be a lot of the NFL and the commissioners kind of waiting to see what's going to happen with baseball starting on Thursday and NBA starting the week after that. I think there's going to be a lot of question marks, and they're kind of going to follow suit with what's going on there. I mean, you're talking not only what happens when players get it, but also much like Ryan Zimmerman of the Nationals, his family, his wife has a low immune system. He's opting out of the season just so he doesn't bring it home to his family. So I'm very, very curious to see what NFL players come out and have similar situations or opt out. I think they have until August 31st, if I'm not mistaken, to decide if they're going to be in or not. I'm not sure if you saw the new rules for if someone gets COVID-19 in the NFL season, but it's actually there's a light at the end of the tunnel. It's kind of beneficial in my eyes, at least. So if a player gets COVID-19, they will be placed on the commissioner's exempt list, which in a sense allows them to still be paid, be on the on the list for up to or for as long as they want. There's no end time, no beginning time for much, and then they can come back right away. And this goes for a lot of players as well, which is going to be nice because I think it opens up that leeway of kind of, okay, this is only for 2020 season. This is what's going to happen. They have 21 days to place them back on the active roster. I think it gives them it's a good outpoint or outcome for players that are, may or may not get it. We don't know what's going on out there.
Well, I was recently in a let's say like it was a mock draft, right? And everybody was in there saying, well, what are we going to do? Is there going to be a COVID IR spot? And everybody chuckled. They laughed. No one expected that. And then like exactly what you said, now there are going to be COVID IR spots, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, I believe so. So I think it's definitely going to be a different dynamic. I know it's just for the 2020 season. So just like much of 2020, the year itself, there's going to be a lot of things going on if there is a season. So looking forward to kind of see how that goes for the rest of the season. But if you are looking for a new challenge in general, which is why I'm playing Dynasty Owner Fantasy Football this season. Dynasty Owner Fantasy Football unites the fun and excitement of fantasy football with the skill and strategy of the front office. Dynasty Owner is the only way to play fantasy football with real NFL salaries, adding the strategy of running an NFL franchise. Dynasty Owner provides a unique challenge for diehard fantasy football fanatics. Go to dynastyowner.com/squib. Leagues are forming now. That's dynastyowner.com/squib. We've all been in a league where the winner just got lucky. And if you're like me and know you're better than most, Dynasty Owner gives you the platform to prove it. Dynasty Owner favors skilled players who can manage their rosters using real NFL salaries within a salary cap. It adds an entirely new level of strategy. So go to dynastyowner.com/squib and validate your fantasy football skills now. Start your dynasty today. So the Dynasty Owner and Tim Peffer over there, they are great people, great company to be with, and they have an absolutely outstanding platform that they are working with. It's a new league out there that it brings in actual NFL salaries and contracts and allows you to use that to your advantage. So the Dynasty Owner is a real up-and-coming platform that could really change the scene. And it's sad to think that the season might be down a little bit this year. But, think about it. They have a $10,000 ring they give away to the champion. I mean, just having a ring like that is insane. So shout out to Dynasty Owner. Go check them out. If you want to mock draft, if you want to get in, you can find that on our website, sidelinesquib.com. There's a link to shoot you over there. Or if you want to head right to the source, you can go to dynastyowner.com/squib and check it out from there. So, Chris,
it's a live broadcast.
Yeah.
I cut out. I apologize. I joined back as soon as I could. So anything goes. It just lets you know that what we do, or like what you have going on, it's a realistic thing. There's no scripts. We don't. Sometimes we don't plan ahead. So I'm here, and I apologize for cutting out. But let's get back to it.
Oh no, I hear you. No, it's not a problem at all. So we're just bringing up the Dynasty Owner and kind of what's going on with them. But I want to get your thoughts. Like, how are you feeling? Give me you're with the DFS cheat sheet. If we have a season, what do you think this is going to be? What do you think this is going to do to some daily fantasy lineups or strategies, or how do you see this hurting the gambling aspect of fantasy football?
Well, I have two opinions. One is as I said, I don't know how much you heard before I cut out my thoughts on, is there going to be a season? Is there not going to be a season? Like a realistic opinion. And then an opinion from a website owner, a guy who puts his heart and soul into his content, his writing, his guest spots, like with you and his broadcasting. So I think that there will be some sort of a baseball season, right? So when it comes to DFS, I think we're going to be, when I say I'm not talking about the site I write for, the site that I have a stake in, let's say, but I'm saying DFS in general, the big dogs, FanDuel, DraftKings. I think it's going to be just an overflow, just flooded with people that want to spend money, right?
Yeah.
They want to get baseball lineups in. They want to get, playoff NBA lineups in, and they're not going to care. They're going to get lineups in a week to 10 days in advance. Let's say when it comes to basketball, baseball, it's a everyday thing. Baseball is played every day. I think there's going to be like an influx of, just constant money coming in. People look for content. I said it early on when I started writing and getting into podcasting and such, where the whole reason why I started writing is because I could not get enough content. So I wanted to create my own, right? So
Yep.
I think I'm not singling myself out saying there's no way I'm the only one. There are thousands, hundreds of thousands of people that they cannot get enough content. That's what they want to do. And given the fact that people are at home in quarantine, they're laid off from their jobs, or they're working at home, let's be honest, right? And they're just at home all day and they just want content. They don't care what it is. They don't care the validity of it, let's say, or if it's respectable, they will not care. And that's where the businessman aspect of me, born and raised on the east side of Detroit. So the hustler, it comes in, you want to get every like, every click, every view, and again, it's a long-winded way of answering your question. People are going to flock to DFS like I don't think we've ever seen before. People have been playing, they've been staying up till 4 or 5 in the morning just to make sure that their Korean baseball lineups are set. What do you think is going to happen when we have, basketball back or Major League Baseball? It's going to be absolutely insane, and rightfully so.
Yeah, I was just about to. That's a good point, because you can see it sort of with PGA and the golf right now, where for those of you guys who don't know, FanDuel and DraftKings, they sort of base their numbers, their cost per player off of the Vegas odds and what kind of money's coming in, and they use that as a tool for themselves. Where you could see that with golf a little bit, because you're getting players that are up in the 8,800 range that are normally 65, 67. So you're right. I think money's going to just fly in wherever it's at. Hopefully, if NFL comes back, that means baseball's doing okay. That means NBA's doing okay. And then the respective people will kind of filter into their sport.
I had a thought while you were talking. I've never been one that was like big into giving my debit card away like premium content. Like if it wasn't free, I didn't care. I wasn't going to read it, And given what's going on now, people they're going to want anything and everything they can get their hands on. And I'm not even mentioning the site I write for or the site I have a stake in. Any premium content websites that are out there right now, they're going to benefit, because FanDuel and DraftKings, those are the big dogs. I just said it a few minutes ago. There's going to be a major spike in cash flow there. So in turn, it's going to trickle down to the premium websites where, people, they have optimizers, or they have, the websites that give out, their daily cash lineup or their daily tournament lineup. So I think, and I hate to, the first thought I had was like, people are going to spend money and we're all going to benefit from a pandemic, but it's just, it's business 101. I personally, I don't want to see anybody sick or die or, and I don't want to get like that dark, but when you have a situation like this, it's just money is coming in and money is going out. So when you see an opportunity, you have to take it. I mean, that's, again, business 101.
Yeah. A new sponsor we just got, actually, it's kind of doing exactly what you talked about, business 101. ThriveFantasy. I don't know if you've had a chance to check them out or not yet, Chris, but ThriveFantasy is it's an up and coming app as well, where it takes DFS and prop betting and puts them together, which is something I've never seen before. So of course I jumped in and see it.
That sounds fantastic. That sounds right up my alley, to be honest.
I can't do it here in Pennsylvania. I guess Pennsylvania has a upfront cost of like $50K or something. So they haven't got to Pennsylvania yet, but it is out there in a bunch of different states. And it kind of leads us into our next segment. We're going to do some over under here. And I'm just thinking, with this Thrive Fantasy app, or they even have a website now, you can go on there. You can use code Squib. They'll give you $20 match on your first deposit. So if you want to throw in $20, check it out. Anyone out there, use code Squib. They'll match you $20. But what it is it's DFS, but for props. So obviously right now you're doing esports or golf if you want to do it. So let's use golf as an example. I mean, it gives you a list. You're talking 30 to 40 different player props, and you're going to pick your lineup based off of those props. So it's like John Rahm over under 1.5 eagles, Tiger Woods, 72 strokes. And you build your lineup based off of your props, which then gives you points in the daily aspect scene, where, there's 400 people in this contest. So it's pretty cool.
That sounds absolutely fantastic. I wrote, what we do is like, what have you done for me lately as far as like professional sports? And it's a daily thing, yesterday is old news, but I wrote a Super Bowl prop bet article as well as an NFL draft prop article. And I had a ton of fun. The research was easy. The opinions were easy. So over unders I love it. So I'll have to check out Thrive, and I'll use code Squib, as you said.
Yeah, that's awesome. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
So just because they are our sponsor, our newest sponsor, and they are more or less over unders, I want to ask you a few questions on season long wins for a few football teams.
Sure.
With the recent news and everything going out, what do you think Dallas will do with an over under of 9.5 wins this season? You think they reach that mark?
They go over. Yeah. I see the Cowboys, as a lifelong Detroiter, born and raised, as I've said, as a Lions fan, there's no love lost with the Cowboys in Dallas, but they're talented. They got a good squad. You show respect. You give respect when respect is given, right? So they're going to win 10, 11 games easy. So I'm going over on that one.
Nice. Yeah, the NFC East is kind of in flux right now. I think Philadelphia is in a win. They need to win. Ever since the Super Bowl win, they're kind of still scratching at the bits a little bit, and the Giants are still in rebuild mode. Who knows what's going on in Washington now?
But honestly, not to go off on a tangent, I love what the Giants are doing though. So they're setting themselves up for the future, not this season,
correct?
But in the future they're set. And Washington is an absolute horror show right now. So
yeah, I don't want any parts of Washington. I don't
know.
There's so much news coming out of Washington and everything like that. I'm even behind on the news aspect of it. There's so many things. As soon as you think, okay, the name aspect is over, the team enterprise is over with, and then it's on to, Trent Williams' cancer wasn't handled right, or the players weren't handled right. So Ron Rivera is definitely in a tough situation right now. But
real quick before we move, not to be rude, but from what I've read and from what I've seen, I'm not trying to make a joke here, but I would not be shocked if there is a murder cover up or like a Dateline episode or like a 2020 special here. It is that whacked out right now in Washington.
Oh yeah. So you can almost guarantee a 30 for 30 on ESPN down the road.
Oh, without a doubt. Yeah.
So Dallas 9.5, we're going over with that one. Here's one that kind of got me thinking a little bit. What about the Jacksonville Jaguars over under 5 wins? Tough division. We know what's going on in Indy with Phillip Rivers coming over and the up and coming running back Jonathan Taylor, which we can get on a little bit more. I'll get your opinion on him. But Bill O'Brien's making a mess, or is he making a mess of the Texans, as the coach / GM? He traded away DeAndre Hopkins, and everyone thought, what's going on. But he's slowly making some things back, bringing in David Johnson and Brandon Cooks and beefing up that line. But Jacksonville and the mustache at 5 wins. What do you think is going to happen there?
This is like low hanging fruit. I don't think Jacksonville wins games. I mean, I'd be surprised. Well, I wouldn't be surprised, but if I'm not mistaken, Jacksonville is projected at around 3. So, to go under there again, it's an easy win. It's low hanging fruit. And as you said, Phil Rivers in Indianapolis. I've always loved Phil Rivers. He throws the ball. He's a madman. You got the rookie Jonathan Taylor. He's going to do absolutely fantastic. And when it comes to Houston, I mean, I know we didn't get together to talk about, each division. We're just doing over-unders. But in my opinion, as an outsider looking in who doesn't have a dog in this fight, I don't really – I could care less about that division. People that are there, they're upset that DeAndre Hopkins was traded. But those are – again, I'm not a Bill O'Brien sympathizer. I don't care what Houston does. You just want to see good games in that. Though the trade he made when he got rid of DeAndre Hopkins, it's a tough move, but those are the moves that you have to make to set yourself up in the future. And people that are, again, what have you done for me lately? They see it as, oh my God, you traded away the star athlete. But in the long run, it's going to pay dividends. So again, Jacksonville under, no doubt.
I like it. Yeah, and we didn't even touch on Tennessee there. The reigning division champ who just recently signed Derrick Henry back to a $50 million extension. So yeah, Detroit, or let's go Jacksonville under 5. Here's another one. It kind of again, I don't know if it's a teaser pick. And one of the toughest offensive divisions, I guess you can say, in the league with very, very weak defenses. Tampa Bay's coming in at 9.5 right now. 9.5 Tampa Bay. Is that for real, or is that Tom Brady, Rob Gronkowski?
The Tom Brady effect, yeah. I saw this was unbelievably crazy. I saw it was a legit website. It was a ranking. It had, George Kittle, Travis Kelce, and then Rob Gronkowski at number 3. I mean, that was like,
what? Guy
hasn't played. We know what he's about. He's a stud. He can lift weights and pack on mass or muscle real quick, right? But it's just one of those. It's that social media era where people. You drop like a little nugget, like a bobber in the water, or like a little minnow or a chub, let's say, and people just freak out and they run with it, And I think Tampa Bay has reached that level where people they're on board, but they're like, well, why? Well, because everybody else is doing it. It's that classic case of be a leader, not a follower, right? And I do believe, I mean, I'm a big Rojo fan, Ronald Jones. Vaughn is there. People are, we talked about this before we went live about the rookie running backs, and people are discounting the everyday starter for the rookie running back. But I firmly believe that Tampa Bay can win 10, 11 games easily. Absolutely. Yes. Over
9.5 Tampa Bay. Yeah, that's another one there. I've always been a Tampa Bay fan. Don't know why. Like you said, don't know why. I'm a big fan of Bruce Arians, and I like Jameis Winston. So we all saw what happened with that last year. I'm just curious to see. I'm curious to see where Tom Brady fits into this offense. Sure, he has a lot.
As on a personal note, sorry to cut you off. As a Tampa Bay, I look at Tampa Bay as those cream-colored jerseys that Barry Sanders used to run all over. So Tampa Bay would come to town all the time. We go there. So Tampa Bay's Tampa Bay. I mean, they have a great field. They have the pirate ship in the west end zone, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, as you said, I think 10 games, over 10 games. Yeah, I'm over on that one.
Yeah, it's just that division. It's kind of one of those things where 3 teams in that division can make the playoffs every year, especially with the new wild card and everything added in there, the extra team getting in. I mean, you're talking Atlanta and Matt Ryan and that whole deal. You have New Orleans with the Saints and Drew Brees and Michael Thomas and Alvin Kamara. I mean, that whole division is locked in.
It's a fantasy stuffed games division.
It really is.
Not the last article I wrote was probably a week or two ago, and it was like, the most fantasy stuffed games in 2020. And I could have easily just ran with either Kansas City, Baltimore, or every team in the NFC South. So it's going to be a great great move in the NFC North this season.
Especially when they play each other. Any
yeah.
man, any NFC matchup is going to be fantasy filled. All right, on to Detroit, your team, your Lions. I have them at 6.5. What do you think is going to happen with the Detroit Lions? Matt Stafford staying healthy. A lot of people hit Matt Stafford with the injury bug. I mean, he only had one injury. One injury doesn't make him injury, labeled an injury bug.
Again, when people say Matthew Stafford has the injury bug, they're uneducated. They know nothing about the city of Detroit. Let's say they don't know anything about the Detroit Lions. They just, again, what have you done for me lately? He hurt his back, broke his back, and he missed all of last season. He played a few games. David Blau was the quarterback for a few games. And 6.5. You said 6.5, right?
6.5. Yep.
And again, I've said this a million times, and I don't want to be that guy who always makes the homer pick, like Kerryon Johnson, DeAndre Swift, or Matthew Stafford. Like there's social media polls, or like when I do articles, or when I do a live broadcast with you or a podcast. Like if I was always a homer, I would lose my respectability. You would be, oh yeah, Detroit Beastie Chris. He's that guy. He always, he's a dummy, But 6.5 it's right. Vegas knows what they're doing, right? I mean, that's where you got these numbers from. Vegas is always so spot on with their numbers when it comes to basketball games, hockey scores, baseball scores. So when you say 6.5, that's right there. I firmly believe the Lions win 8 games. I don't think they make the playoffs, but eight wins. It's one of those situations where it's enough where you keep Patricia, you keep Bob Quinn, the GM, right? And nothing changes. The more things stay the same, the more they stay the same. That's the saying, right? And, 8 or 9 wins, that will keep their jobs, but it's not moving the needle here for the people in Detroit, like me, or the people out on the deck here at the lake. So nobody cares if they win more than 6 games. People want 10 wins. They want 11, 12 wins. They want a deep playoff run. They want a fucking, excuse my language, they want a home playoff game. They want an NFC championship game. They want that stuff. So if they win 7 games, yeah, they beat the over, but they've done nothing, So it's a real odd situation. I mean, I know, like, let's say Buffalo, they made the playoffs, but they've been, towing the line for years. They have a fan base that shows up in 35 below temperatures and they come there. But in Detroit, it's just an odd situation. And I don't mean to like have this large, like avant-garde, like, oh, just go nuts for Detroit here as much as I want to, but we want more than 6.5 wins. We want more than the over under here, right? We want more than Matthew Stafford padding his stats. We want a playoff run. We want an NFC championship game. We want home games here in the playoffs. And it goes more above and beyond, 6 or 7 wins in an over under. Yeah. We want it. And quite frankly, as a guy, as a Detroit Lions fan, born and raised right here, we want more than 7 or 8 wins. I can't say it enough.
So who do you think walks away with the North?
So after all that, you're going to put me on a spot like this.
I am.
Talked up the Lions, and then you want me to tell you honestly, I think Green Bay wins the division again.
Green Bay.
I mean,
it's a tough one.
I can't come on here on a Saturday night and be like all sunshine and rainbows. I always will be straightforward, and I always will talk the truth. I can't be, all glitter and butterflies. I mean, I don't realistically see. Realistically, do I want the Lions to win? Yes. Do I think they win? No. And it's going to be one of them situations where everybody across the state and the city of Detroit, where when they win, oh yeah, we called it. We knew they were going to win. But as it stands now, I should write a book where every year every day, every month, it's the same thing. Every time in July, everyone's optimistic about the Lions. They look good. OTAs are right around the corner. They're going to be fantastic. And then they go out and they take a dump on the field. They win 4 games, and we walk away embarrassed with our tail between our legs. And fast forward again to next June or July, and we're talking the same things again, right? So I'm one of those guys. I'm 36 years old. It's like the Lions are in my blood. Like, it's in my veins. Like, that's all I know. That's the only team I know to root for. And I'm to the point where you can't walk away. That would be silly. I'm not a quitter, but I want to see them do it. I want to see them do something. So not to be rude to you, but when the over under is at 6.5, it's like, who gives a shit about winning 6 games? We want 10, 11. As I said, as I went nuts, we want a home playoff game. That realistically, in the grand scheme of things, you're an adult man. I'm an adult man. We have families, wives, kids, girlfriends, whatever. Professional football is not going to make or break my life. But in Detroit, it does. People, that's all they want. We've had Red Wings Stanley Cups. We've had Tigers World Series. We've played in the World Series. We've had Cabrera batting titles. The Lions have done nothing. That's all we want in the city. That's realistically, that's all we want.
That makes a lot of.
I can't say it enough.
It makes a lot of sense. I mean, you're right. Over-unders from Vegas don't mean anything for local fans and for fan bases around the NFL as well.
Yeah.
But I do want to thank ThriveFantasy app because they kind of gave us the idea to kind of run with this, and it brings up different opportunities to talk about some things like this, like Detroit, and to dig into, your mind being from Detroit, being a fan of the Lions, and the NFC North, where, there's some divisions. As much as you talk NFL and football day in and week out, however you want to do it, there's still some divisions and teams that get pushed to the side, like Tennessee just went on this run, and really you still don't talk about them, so I'm glad. Tampa Bay, yeah.
Tampa Bay, they can take or leave. They take it or leave it, whatever. You know what I mean? They can put I don't mean put the team down in that way, but they can just, turn the TV off, put the magazines down. Well, we'll start going to games again, and we'll paint our faces when they're good again, right? And they don't go to games or whatever. It doesn't matter. I went to last season in December, right after Christmas, when Jameis Winston in Tampa Bay was in town. So the Lions were going nowhere, right? Stafford we're talking like week 12, week 13, maybe it might have even been week 14, if I'm not mistaken. I was in a suite, you're getting fed cannolis, steak, chicken, right? But Ford Field was still packed. People are they're cheering every yard, every first down. It's amazing. And there's only a few, I don't want to say a few people, but there's only a few professional sports franchises that are like that, and it has nothing to do with the team. It has everything to do with the city. That's what it's about. Seattle, they love the Mariners, but the Mariners, they put a crappy product on the field. But if the Mariners were to put something together, the whole city would rally behind them. And Detroit we've never faltered. We've never wavered. That's all we want. And we take unbelievable amount of punishment. We get put down. We get made fun of. I mean, social media is an absolute, we're taking it every which way when it comes to that. But it don't matter. They still pack Eastern Market to like pregame, to grill, to cook turkeys on Thanksgiving, and then we all pack into Ford Field. So we are. When I say, I know we didn't want this. I know the show wasn't about like the Lions or Detroit or me personally, but I'm just giving you a glimpse into a legitimate and a realistic fan who loves the Detroit Lions and who loves the city of Detroit. And when this team hits, when they do what we all expect them to do, the city is going to go absolutely nuts, and it's going to be well deserved. And I've been waiting on that for 35 years, but let's be honest. So when it happens as an adult man, it's going to be It's going to be glorious. I don't have any kids. It'll be like having a child. I'd like to imagine.
Yeah, well, you guys are close. I mean, you're close. The Vikings and the Green Bay are both dealing with some older quarterbacks. I mean,
Yep.
one thing that we talked about, I mean, the Green Bay Packers had to deal with the Detroit Lions. We touched on Tampa Bay. There's one thing they all have in common, and that's that rookie running back that's coming into the league. What is your opinion on the rookie running backs and how they equate to fantasy football in Dynasty this year? I mean, a lot of people are counting out rookie running backs this year, looking forward to the future years.
I think.
What is your idea?
I think it's quite the opposite. They're counting out the already established stud running backs, and they're already giving the rookie running backs all the carries, all the touchdowns, all the receptions, and that. And I've said it since I wrote an article 3 or 4 days after the draft in April, because I didn't know any other way to get it out, where it was unbelievable to me that Kerryon Johnson, for sake of the conversation, the Lions drafted DeAndre Swift, so Kerryon Johnson, you can throw him in the scrap heap, right? Or Aaron Jones in Green Bay, they drafted AJ Dillon, you can throw him in the scrap. Aaron Jones scored 19 touchdowns last year, he had over 1,500 total yards, so he's in the scrap heap. Devin Singletary he was a rookie, so this season is going to be his sophomore year, and they're already throwing him onto the trash pile because they drafted Zach Moss. It is absolutely, I'm struggling for the word, because it blows my mind. One, there hasn't been a single practice. Nobody's on the field. We don't know a single thing. We don't know how carries are going to shake out. We don't know who's going to get this work, who's going to get that work. We don't know nothing. And before we went live here, Steve, I told you, there's been absolutely nothing going on across the board. And there's been no Stanley Cup playoffs. There's been no baseball. There's been no NBA playoffs. So it's the same conversation recycled over and over again. I can set my watch by the Vaughn talk in Tampa Bay. Rojo, he's a bum, whatever. It's all Vaughn. We don't know a thing. They haven't stepped a foot on the field yet. So let's, as my friend whose house I'm at, let's pump the brakes, right? Let's pump the brakes. We don't know a thing about these rookie running backs.
I agree. Especially this year going into 2020, we don't know anything that's going on. There's many rookies that are coming out, including Jonathan Taylor. I mean, he's such a juiced up running back and prospect coming into the league. They still have Marlon Mack, who did it very well last year, and add that to Naheem Hines, who's going
to get it from sorry to cut you off, from what I've read. They love it. He's going to get a ton of the passing downward.
Yeah.
So again, when you have such a blue chip prospect like Jonathan Taylor or Clyde Edwards-Helaire in Kansas City, I mean, you can obviously, what's going to happen. I mean, sooner or later, they're going to get their carries. They're going to become, workhorses or studs. But as it stands, that's all. It's all opinion based. Still, we don't know a flipping thing.
No, I agree with you there. So, hey, Chris, well, I appreciate you coming on. If you ever get a chance, if we do get the fantasy football back and at it, go ahead, check out that Thrive Fantasy app. Or if you're looking for a trophy for your league, everybody out there, go to trophysmack.com, use code Squib, get yourself a free championship ring as well. It's a $60 value. Chris, tell everyone a little bit more about where they can find your work and where they can follow you, or any shout outs you have.
Yeah, you find me on Twitter. I'm at Detroit Beastie. The handle is right below my chin as I speak. Any work that I do, I share it on Twitter, Facebook. I'm at Chris Robin, the same Chris Robin that cares for Winnie the Pooh, Eeyore. I've heard them all. Don't bother, let's say. And then everything is published at dfscheatsheet.com. And you can find the website on Twitter at dfscheatsheet1 on Twitter. I have a few articles in the chamber as it stands now, and a large majority of them, like 2 or 3 of them, are collaborations coming up with other specific writers who are at other websites. I'm a huge guy on showing love and support. I think that if we if we love and support each other, we share each other's work and our content, and hey, check out this guy. We can all learn and grow, and we'll be better for that. There's no point in stepping on necks, stifling people's growth when it comes to writing or reading anything. So find me at Detroit Beastie. I'd love to have a conversation with anybody who messages me, DMs me. It doesn't matter. I'm all about the love and support, and more than willing to help and support anybody across the board. I don't care what it is. I don't care what you do. I'm open to anything and everything, my friend.
I appreciate it. Well, it was awesome having you on, guys. And if you're looking to see any more of his work, you can also check Chris out on our website. He lends a hand to us. Like he said, he lends a hand, and he loves helping people out. And he lended us that helping hand, and he's going to write some articles for us as well when the time comes. Hopefully the NFL season comes around. We're all looking forward to it. Swing over and check us out, www.sidelinesquib.com. Get all your content and access there as well. But there's plenty of fantasy football providers out there, so make sure you check them all out. Don't just stick with one, because you can get different opinions, different things, mix them all together.
They're not all created equal. Again, I'm not I don't have anybody specific in mind, but as it stands now, July 2020, there are thousands of opinions and websites and articles. Find out what you like. Not forcing my opinion or anything on anybody, but do your work, do your due diligence, find out what you like, settle in there, and we'll leave it there.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Well, Chris, thanks for having the opportunity to join me tonight.
Absolutely,
and
my friend.
We would love to have you back. Go enjoy yourself the rest of the night on the lake, and hopefully we see your lines in the playoffs.
Oh, I'd love it. Thank you, man. I'll talk to you guys. Bye.
Awesome. See you.